Broadcast is back, baby.
And you cannot have tooltip.
Yeah.
You know, it just say like a pretty obvious example is like you have mouse, you have cursor. When you move there, they can have additional information
Yeah.
showing you. But with phone, everything is touch. Most of the time is touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't really get to see some floating tooltips.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
there, you really relying on the physical feedback or tutorial or like direct information. But then of course that every information you wanted to tell players, it adds layers of layer. It takes the UX flow longer and longer. So there's some limitation to it, but yeah, and also I think um, of course some games they try to make it very immersive, very pretty,
Yeah.
but for mobile game it's just by its natural you cannot really go if your game by the business model of mobile game it's hard to make it super minimalistic, so that's something that is different. Yeah, but in general, design wise, the design theory, the UX aspect to it is all the same. It's
Mm-hmm.
sharing the same concept, the same
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say that makes good UX?
Hmm?
What would you say that makes UX good?
That is so intuitive.
Intuitive. Okay,
It's so
intuitiveness. Yeah.
accessible. Accessible meaning you have a good readability, you have a good accessibility, you have a good understanding and user hobby, and also brings in the long term it brings a good business aspect because it works. Player wants to do this, player wants to buy this, they always get it you know I'm
Mm.
talking about because the mobile game is more like about that. So it also so you had accessible is what did I say the first one?
Intuitiveness. It's
It's
intuitive.
intuitive,
Yeah.
it's accessible, it brings a good business aspect
Mm-hmm.
because everything you plan your mastermind playing players let them feel, oh my god, this offer is gonna running out soon. That is UX too. We plan this. We make you feel you're missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah,
And
what would be yours? If you ask me,
oh,
you are also UI UX designer
of
before.
course.
Yeah.
Before, yeah. Right now, I'm more like UI and concept art. But if you ask me UX, I would say that same as you, accessibility. Something that I learned from Vivian. Vivian, she was our UX specialist, right?
Yes.
Is that you need to try whatever you do, you create. You need to have players trying it and playing it and giving you feedback because you know this image with the two paths. Like the one path is like the stone, and that's UI.
You're saying a player thing, yes, the shortcut thing, yes.
Yeah,
Yes, user test is definitely a big job of being a UI UX designer.
yeah.
I mean, you mainly UX designer now. You're doing a lot of testing, and you get to see players' feedback. You're doing survey. You run this like cool thing like biometric test.
Mm-hmm.
When you have something on your eyes and they track where you look at, and
Mm-hmm.
they create a heat map for you. So for example, then they realize you're always looking at this, even though you want the player looking at the top right,
Yeah.
but they keep looking at the one in the button because they thought that is a GIF or something. So they
Yes.
keep looking at it. So that's something that you only get to know. Of course, you knew it by experience, but with that kind of if you have a whole new design, you never did it before, that kind of a user test is so important.
It is. It is. I've seen once also for mobile games. You had this heat map for your thumb, so you know like the areas that your
Oh
thumb touch. You
yes,
know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
And a lot of games, not even games like apps as well, they put like buttons on the top, and that's like the place that you never reach. You need like to do hand gymnastics to touch it. When
Yeah.
ideally everything should be close to your thumb, but people don't think about that. Like,
Yeah, it is, but also definitely depends on the user, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah, so mobile game has this hardcore game and mid-core games and like
yeah,
casual games. If like we talk about hyper casual or casual game, of course everything one thumb would
mm-hmm,
be awesome. But now, I don't know if you like say Genshin Impact, there's a lot of PC game they make it to mobile, but they were
mm,
like triple A. For example, you play The Witchers on Switch, you'd be like, everything is so small, so bad. But
yeah,
um, that happened on mobile too. That you just in the end you will need to hold your finger. Yeah.
Yeah. One second. Oof. Um, since we're talking about that, Peko, do you have any advices for anyone who would like to embark in this journey and become a UI UX specialist? Like general advices for young people who wants to become UI UX specialist.
I think the common the common impressions for being a UI designer is like people will think about we are making buttons, right? That's kind of a
but we are.
but we are making buttons, yeah.
What are you talking
We're
about?
not just making buttons, yeah. Well, yeah, and people will think about. I remember there's some concept artists back then, Ubisoft. They're like, oh, UI designer are just the people who cannot become an artist, so they do UI instead. You know, like. But I think over the years, UI UX becomes so important because we get to, you know, we get to be the communicate. It's more and more technology to human.
Yeah.
So we, as a translator, our job has become more and more important and having a bigger impact. And also, AI drawing art now.
Yeah.
They will come to UI soon, but later. For my advice will be like knowing if you are the right person, if that's the really things that you like to do, because this work there's a lot of it's not just making buttons. You have to think about so many things. You have to being able to corrupt with so many different departments. You really are a communicator to many things, you know, to the game, to the player, to your home team.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the part of the work that is not outside of beautiful buttons or beautiful UI. Yeah.
So basically, you need to have communication skills, soft skills.
Soft skills and or just the ability to have this versatile of thinking so many aspects, and you are able to put yourself in players' shoes to think about their user, you know, their hobbies and how they do. Like our game, Jin's Journeys player base are all 50 plus women.
Really?
Because that's the type of the game I really, really like. Story driven, and they have some gardening, decoration stuff. That's our target group.
I'm surprised.
So it's our player base. Yeah, it's fun to as a young people to play, but that's our target, our mainly customer base.
Wow.
And yeah, so when you're playing that, you have to think about, you cannot have that very intensive competitive, because that's overwhelming for them. They just want to stay home on the sofa playing this game, you know, and you know, or you cannot have like, let's do a quick matching, you know. So, or you have like super little things to read that we can read it, but maybe for them 50 plus is hard to read. So something like that.
That's so fascinating. I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a little bit about AI and that you're doing those stickers, right? Are you using AI in your workflow, Mid-Journey or something like that? You are. The smile.
I'm not using that at all. Like I'm not using it. So I don't use those. But I play a little bit with it, and I see the potential. Of course, I see the good side of it, and I see the bad side of it, and I see the impact that we all have a lot of game artist friend, right? Or in general, artist friends.
Yeah.
And of course, I see the impact on them. But I think that's why I also choose UI UX, because there's a lot of things that the ideas, the thought is what AI hard to take, you know? So yes, even though AI can create art way faster than you and maybe way skill-wise so good, but the idea is still yours. You are the one fitting the ideas.
You're not answering my
right?
question.
I am not using it!
All right, yeah.
But I use ChatGPT though.
Do you?
I use that a lot, just mainly more like correct my grammar, or like how can I write this in German will be better, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
Write my bachelor thesis, write my GDC talk.
I don't remember the last time I replied an email. It's all ChatGPT. I replied this email. I'm not joking.
Are you serious? You really?
I'm serious. I just say to this guy that I don't have time. Write, I don't know, a very polite email. That's it.
I didn't know they can do actual assistant thing. I thought they are just chatting.
No, I just copy and paste. Like, this is the mail that I received. Paste. Please reply in a very professional way that I don't care. Enter. You know? And then I'm not joking. And then he gives me like a very professional, nicely written, very long email saying that I don't care. Like, but no good. but in a very, very polite and professional way, like something that you can send to people, you know?
Okay, you have to show me some example afterwards. Yes.
Oh. Watch full episodes of the Brewcast on the main YouTube channel, youtube.com/@brewfrasca.